Okay, now, welcome. I'm Lindsey Latham. I'm happy that you're here. And did everybody get their workbook?
Yes. I don't have it printed though.
Well, it's interactive. So
Okay.
there's spaces. It's an interactive PDF. So when you open it on your computer or your phone, there's spaces next to the prompts that you can just click on it and you can type.
Oh, okay, great.
Nick. Okay, great. Cool. Hello. Hello. Okay, so did you get your workbook, Nick? Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Bear with me, guys. Wait a second. Good Lordy. Share. But I should be able to, let's see here. Close. All right. Yeah, you see here how I started to type to make sure I was sending the right file. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before we begin?
I don't.
Okay. Okay. So Nick, if at any point you have any questions, just take yourself off mute. If everybody could mute themselves, and then if you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question. Because because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see like everything. Okay. All right. So this is the Foundations of Psychic Development. I am Lindsey Latham, and I just want to welcome you and express to you how happy I am to have you here. It's a pleasure to be able to assist in your psychic development. And just because it's just a part of who I am and my purpose to be assistants. Can you guys mute yourselves? Please. I guess I could do it, but I really don't want to. Somebody's not muted. Mindy, Nick. Good God. Okay. Sounds quieter now. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So it's a part of my purpose to be assistance to you in this way. And I didn't figure that out until, 5 years ago, 6, 7, in my mid-30s. I'm 41 now. And on the following pages, you'll find fillable spaces where we will create an energetic blueprint and a safe space to assist in the growth and exploration of your psychic development. One of the keys to a successful practice is feeling safe in your own space. And today we are going to create that safe space for you to activate whenever you wish. So here in a minute, we're going to do a grounding meditation, a visualization. It's something that I've been doing for, close to 20 years. And it's something that I use. I learned it through my sister, who is the Reiki master teacher, who has taught me Reiki and who has given me all of my Reiki attunements. I am also a Reiki master teacher. And it's a great way to create a safe space and a barrier between your energy and the energy of things that may be overwhelming you. And creating a strong foundation is essential in regards to psychic development and awareness. Without a strong grounding, things may become difficult. Having control over your awareness is the key and the purpose of a strong foundation. You are creating energetic space, boundaries, and awareness that permit you to open yourself up safely to your liking and comfort. This takes a tremendous amount of trust in the unknown, trust in self, and ultimately trust in source. Identifying where you lack trust and letting go of that lack will be an essential part of your life from here on out. I suggest starting every day with a quick focused energy visualization exercise to consciously connect and emit boundaries. Sometimes doing this once a day is enough, sometimes it's not. Do it as many times as needed throughout your day. So this is just before we start, this is visualization representation of what we're going to be doing in the meditation. So just to give you an idea of what the whole thing looks like, this is the energy boundaries we're going to be creating in this visualization exercise. Okay. And this is a link to a YouTube video I made with a guided version of what we're about to do. So you can go there and, use that as needed. Okay. So right now, just sit back, relax, close your eyes. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, just take yourself off mute and let me know before we get started. Okay, I'm going to put on some music. Okay. Take a deep breath. Sit in a comfortable position. If you're sitting in a chair where your feet can touch the ground, that's great. If you're sitting on your butt, that's okay too. Just plant your feet firmly in the ground or your butt. Start paying attention to your breath. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling however you want. Now bring your awareness to your feet or whatever part of your body is touching the ground. And just bring awareness to that space right where you're touching the ground beneath you. Now I want you to envision roots growing out of your body, down through the earth. Envision the roots growing, going deeper, going through the layers of the earth, all the way down to the core of the earth. You hit the core of the earth, it's this fiery ball of light energy, just waiting for you to tap into. Now you notice that this fiery energy is starting to move up the roots, up through the earth, finally getting to your body, and this fiery light of beautiful energy starts to flow into your body. Observe as it's moving up your lower body, filling your inner being with earth source energy. Now, this is happening naturally. You don't have to force it. It's flowing into your body. So now I want you to take your awareness to the very tip top of your head. The very top of your head. Now create an opening with roots coming out of the top of your head into the universe above, all the way up. Connect to the sun if you like. You don't have to, but you can. Connect to whatever you want to connect to. Once you have the roots up into the universe above, into the vastness of source, now you notice that this strong force light energy is now moving through the roots down into through the crown chakra into the top of your head and begins to fill your body with source light energy from above. So your whole body is filling up with this white light energy. It's meeting in the middle in your torso. You can use your breath to bring the energy more into your body to help with the visualization. Feel the energy going down your arms, filling your fingers so much that it's like flowing out of your fingertips. And it's getting close to being full now. So we're right about where your eye level is. Your body's filling up with this energy, like your body's a glass of water. Now that it's full, this white light energy, because it has nowhere else to go, your body is full. It is now sprouting out of the top of your head, through your crown chakra, up, and it starts filling in the space around you in an egg-like shape, as large as you want it to be, all the way around your body. This energy is enclosing you in this egg of white light protection. In your egg, you are completely protected. Nothing's getting in. Here is a safe space to connect with whatever you like. My process is, and you're welcome to do the same. I connect with Reiki gods, Reiki master ascendants, universal light, love, peace, joy, happiness. I connect with angels, archangels, angelic choirs of every harmonic and octave. I connect with my spirit team, guides, ancestors, all beings of light and love that are here for my highest good and healing, to assist in fulfilling my purpose, to assist others. I connect with you. I connect with Source, God, the universe. Here's also a good time to command away any attachments that are not for your highest good and healing, and anything that is blocking you or attached to you, that is holding you back, remove now. Send them on their way. Now, bring yourself back to your breath. Breathe in. Know that your egg isn't going to just go away because we stopped doing the meditation. It's there. Learn and build trust with your practices and what you create energetically with your inner vision and with your intention. Okay. Whenever you're comfortable, and open your eyes. Come back into the room. Does anybody have any questions regarding the meditation or how to do it? Awesome. All right. Why isn't this closing? Okay. All right. So now we're going to get into the process. All right. So energetic awareness. Sit with your body and feel the energy around you. Now that we have cleared out the space, cleared out your space, now you are left with you. Okay. And with no interference, just with, you and what you're dealing with, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So sit with your body, feel the energy around you, pinpoint weaknesses, blockages in each area below, and list what you find. What comes up in each energy body when you attempt to open yourself up to experience extrasensory awareness? So what I mean by this is when you ask your mind, your energy mind. So there are 4 energy bodies: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. When you ask your mind what comes up in regards to psychic awareness and developing extrasensory awareness, what does your mind tell you? That is what you're going to put right here. And things like judgments may come up, like it's bullshit, it's not real. Things like, things attached to stuff like that. Or, I mean, this stuff gets deep. So this is like, does anybody have an example? Or like, it's not real. This isn't real. What I'm experiencing isn't real. Your mind is a big thing, because even when you have proof right in front of your face of your psychic experiences, your mind is going to diminish that proof right afterwards and talk you out of your experience. It's very powerful if you don't have a handle on your mind. And if you're letting your mind get in the way, then it's a blockage. So what the key is to reveal it. So when your mind is telling you something, to debunk an experience or validate that psychic awareness is bullshit, it needs to be revealed and dissected pretty much. Because if your mind is telling you that it's bullshit, that is conditioning. That is, it's connected to another subconscious belief that needs to be reprogrammed. Which, does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So moving into the emotional body. What emotions come up when you ask your emotional energy body? What emotions come up in regards to psychic development and awareness? Is there fear? Is there anxiety? This is where things would come up, about not wanting like a demon to connect to you, being afraid of things going inside of your body and taking over your body, things of that sort, or just flat out scared. Like I had issues with this for a long time because of perceived things entering my body. And it's like when you experience a psychic break or a psychosis where things are so out of control, it's a process to get, start trusting the information that you're receiving, because there's that fear that it's something else, some other being or force or something trying to take over your mind. All of this goes back to conditioning. Just, if anybody ever has any questions, just take yourself off mute. Nick, make sure you take yourself off mute and talk, because I can't see if you're putting anything in the chat. Okay, spiritual energy body. What comes up spiritually when you ask yourself, what beliefs are coming up about spirituality, religion? If you have a background, you were raised religious. If that's so, what comes up? What beliefs come up? Because when you really get to the core of it, all of us have been conditioned to believe beliefs based on somebody else's belief system. And their belief system is just based off of somebody else's belief system. Like, it's one big mind fuck. Nobody has decided. We're all starting to, but nobody started with a clean slate without anybody else's thoughts and beliefs being imposed upon us from childhood, because we're raised by our parents. You're in my generation, you're told to just do it. Don't ask, just do it, which is what our parents did. They just did it. They just did what they were told, with no regard of the impact that it would have. Well, now we're all experiencing the impact of inauthentic living and being, and disregarding our own wants and needs. for, other, other things, other people, everything. So, but those beliefs, that conditioning is blocking you from experiencing your innate psychic awareness that we're all born with. We all have it. It is our natural way of operating. We've all been conditioned out of our power. That's life. Climbing and ascending out of the conditioning. And then physical can also tie into what happened. The physical body, are you afraid that something's going to attack you? Are you afraid other people are going to attack you? Because there's some strong opinions about psychics. There's some, I get called a demon, all kinds of stuff. So there's those fears also of what other people are going to think, how other people are going to act. It all ties in together. Any questions? Do you guys understand this so far? Virginia?
I have one question.
Okay.
When you find something that bothers you, I know, in your body, do you tell it to go away, or do you try to heal it? Like a fear or something that's blocking you?
So are we talking about, well, no, it needs to be integrated. So, but are you talking about, are you perceiving it as another being that you're communicating with, or is it a part of you?
No, it's a part of me. When I'm trying to use my intuition on your videos, sometimes my mind tells me that I'm wrong.
All right, that's your ego. Yes. So really the key to this is really getting a strong idea of what that voice sounds like and identifying it for what it is and being able to just move beyond it or not pay attention to it. Don't engage with it at all. Just let it be. Just observe it. But and the key to that is it's good that you get when you get the exercises wrong, because you're gaining information and awareness on what your ego mind sounds like and how to not engage in it and how to identify it for what it is, and know that when you hear that voice, that's not it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, your intuition, your psychic awareness is never going to tell you that you're wrong. It doesn't talk like that. It doesn't talk like that. It's not going to tell you anything about you. That's the ego. That's your intuition. In psychic awareness, it's just the answer. It's never going to say anything about you or about anybody else. Or, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And in my experience, that's a part of us. I mean, we aren't our mind, but it is something that is a part of us. It's our computer, and as I've gone along, I don't want to say it's gotten quieter, but it just gets more manageable. And at some point you'll be completely dismantled from it. And you really just don't even pay attention to it anymore. It's like very, very quiet. But it is there. It's never going to go anywhere. The key is just to use it for what it is and not have it be just spouting off at the mouth whenever it wants. And the more that you disengage and the more that you decondition, that will happen. And I always like to tell, have you read The Power of Now? If you have it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay. Yeah. That book is gold. Okay.
I wanna to say something.
Yes, please.
Well, I have a lot of years of experience too, just like you, but I think that trusting your intuition takes a lot of practice. Just like learning anything else that, requires us, to learn a skill. It's something that we already have, but it takes practice. It's about getting to know yourself again. And it's about also knowing what your gifts are, because intuition can come in many ways. For example, I'm a feeler. I feel things. And also I feel like, I can hear stuff as well, but sometimes when the mind gets in the way, the intellectual mind, then my feelings kind of help out. Okay, you're going on the right path. This feels right. No, it feels wrong, type of thing, So it's like also getting to know your gifts is very helpful in some way.
Yep. You've got to figure out the avenues. It's like figuring out shortcuts on a route to going to where you want to go. So as you practice and as you develop, you find these direct access to where you want to go instead of, going around the block and, whatnot. And it all comes together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were I asked you a question and then, so do you have a question or anything, Virginia?
No, I don't have a question. I just wanted to mention that. So
Mindy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm paying attention to all this. My questions are being answered as we go.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Can you guys see me?
No,
Oh, okay. I don't know how to use things. I'll figure it
it's okay.
out. Okay.
Okay, so then we're going into the energetic restructuring. So this is taking back control of your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical energy space. So this is, now that you know where you feel vulnerable, now you know what to let go of and where to place extra emphasis on protection while source takes care of the rest. Trust in source is essential to your psychic development. Without it, you will never find confidence in the information that you receive. So okay. So sitting with your mind and observing. Right below what you experience in the mind when you ask yourself, what's holding you back from completely trusting in source? And I'm sure all of you, if you don't know what source is or don't have a grasp on source, I would suggest sitting down and deciding what source is to you. Like, to me, it's the force that's within all of us. It's the universal force that we're co-creating with. It's everything. It's all of us. But everybody has a different, that's for you to decide. You are co-creating with something. So What does your mind tell you? Like, things with your mind might come up like this. Maybe you have some healing to do around, something that happened, or maybe you lost somebody in a tragic way, and you have this little resentment with God, or, something like that is holding you back from completely trusting in source. Those are the kinds of things that'll come up in your mind, like what's holding you back from true acceptance of the processes of life and death, and what you can and cannot control. Do you feel things are inflicted onto you from source? Like those are the things that you've got to acknowledge and heal and integrate and forgive in order to be able to trust source. Okay, so then we go down to the emotional body. Sit with your emotional body, right below what you experience emotionally when you ask yourself what's holding you back from completely trusting in source. Are you afraid that you're going to get hurt? Are you afraid that, you're going to get taken advantage of? What emotionally comes up? Yeah, I mean, here, trauma, things like that are going to come up, and all those things need to be observed and healed. Yes, Mindy. Oh, we have hand. That's awesome.
The thing that comes up for me is just as I learn to trust what information that I'm getting, that I'm not being lied to, that I'm not getting some other, like I've heard that there's such a thing as trickster spirits, and I have sometimes identified those. I think they're kind of obvious, actually. I don't know if I'm very new at all this, but I could say that when I run across spirits that have given me information, I've recognized that I was being lied to, but they were generally kind of obvious. But to have your time and your energy wasted, your emotional energy and your physical energy, but with getting information that's not correct, or leads you down a path where you realize, wait a minute, that wasn't the right thing. That's something I pay close attention to. I don't want that. I want to give, I want to receive, and I want to give correct information.
Right. But the only reason that came up into your awareness and to you is so you can learn that lesson and realize that is a conditioned belief in itself. And it's your mind recreating these trickster, things to confuse you. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I had to go through all of that. And really, if nobody would have ever told you that, you wouldn't have ever latched on to that belief and to that conditioning. And none of that experience would have been created if you didn't have that conditioned belief that created this story for then you to manifest and live through.
Oh, interesting.
Which your mind will do it. Your mind, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything, because I don't. But in my experience, yes, maybe it was you know what? No, I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to it being a spirit. I subscribe to it being your mind latching onto a belief and creating that story for you to live through, but it's okay. You needed to learn that. You needed to
Well,
live through it.
It was something that a psychic had told me. So it was something that I was paying attention to. So, I mean, it's good to hear another perspective on that, because I would like to let go of any limiting beliefs, and I would like to trust completely, because I do want to give or receive, and I do want to give correct information that in other words, truth. That's something that I would be in flow with, that would come to me and that would come out of me, that I wouldn't have to always sort of be on guard or, being in fear, limited by that idea.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's, that it.
I think that as time progresses, as I begin to get information, I get feedback. That I'm sure that's something that would be something people would seek after as somebody trying to express their intuitiveness or their psychic skills, that they would be wanting feedback. Oh, is that correct? How did that work out? And
yeah, you have to work with others. You have to work with others. Because I was having mediumship experiences all the time, but would invalidate them. Oh, that was my grandpa. Of course I can hear my grandpa, but it wasn't until I had an absolute stranger across from me. And, and I was here. I mean, his wife's name's coming out of my mouth. She's spelling her name in my ear. And then her name came out of my mouth and my whole body flushed. And I knew from that point on, I was like, oh my God, everything makes sense. And so, yes, you have to work with others. You have to work with strangers, because that's where the proof is provided. Yep. And your mind will still try and diminish it, try and,
Lindsey, is there some hierarchy of what we connect to? For example, I've heard some people say that you have to go through your guides to get to an angel.
No, absolutely.
Is that more like a religious belief?
I don't know what that belief is, but it sounds like a limiting, manipulated bullshit is what that sounds like.
It did confuse me when I was told that by somebody, because I have been connecting with Archangel Michael. In fact, not the only Archangel Michael, and receiving information, and then I was told, no, I can't. That can't be the case. I have to go through a guide. So that did throw me off.
You can do whatever you want, however works best for you, and don't let anybody ever tell you that you can't. And if they're telling you that you can't, it's because I bet they know how to do it and they're trying to get your money or something.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was about, but you're not going to get my money. No, she wasn't going after my money. So I'm not sure what was motivating that, but it was interesting. And I just take it off.
Her ego, that was just ego, her trying to act like she knew more than you. What it sounds like.
It did have a little bit of that kind of feels, but I wasn't trying to judge her so much as I was just trying to consider what she was saying. But I would say that it did leave me feeling confused. And yeah, and I don't feel like that truth leaves you feeling confused. I mean, it may leave you.
No, it might leave you pissed off.
It did have a little bit of that feel to it as well. Yes. Yeah.
No, there's no rule there. There's no rules like that. Not like you create your own rules. You create your own way that feels natural and is personal to you. There's nobody else with your perspective. You're creating your own perspective. So, pick things that, are natural and feel good to you. from the information that you seek out and receive. There's no, right or wrong, or, you can't, you don't know. Mm-mm. Oh, Virginia had to go. She wasn't feeling good, but thank you so much for the class. I wish you good. Thank you. Aw,
That's too bad.
that is bad. I'll send her the recording. Okay. So moving on. Okay, so now we're gonna sitting right below what you experience spiritually when you ask yourself, what's holding you back completely from trusting in source? Again, this is where, things like you were just talking about are going to come up. Things that other people have told you that you can and cannot do. Spiritual thing, the religious stuff can come up here too. Or a lot of the not being worthy of, there's a lot of weird conditioning things. I mean, we've all grown up in I want to say, Christian, Bible, like all those beliefs, core, things have been, it's just the propaganda that, is everywhere. And it's going to be different for everybody, of course. But some kind of, I'm sure, something having to do with religion has been imposed onto us about our beliefs, or about what we should believe, what is right and wrong stuff. With this chat thing, what do you mean? It's a mind. What do you mean? Mindy, you guys can just take yourselves off mute if it's quiet where you are.
Okay. Here I am. Yeah, so I find the religions not attacking anybody's religion. But I find that the organized religions, the churches, the organizations, with all the leadership and all that, I find them to have a certain kind of mind. And from the top down, I'm not talking about individuals, but I'm talking about from the top down, the leadership, the part that you don't really see what's going on behind the scenes. From that position down, it is a mind that is not a Christ mind. It is not like those character qualities that you associate.
Right. But, and it's midnight, and that's what I've felt also, that it's so far from the truth that it's just, I'm not capping on anybody. I do not subscribe to organized religion, even the, so-called, whatever. I don't let my mind be infiltrated by anything that is going to affect or impose any kind of beliefs onto me. All of this kind of stuff is important when you're working in psychic development, psychic awareness, because you want to be as pure in mind and body and spirit as possible. That's the clearer things are going to be. So it is important to be considering things like this. What comes up in your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical body for you in connection to trusting God, to trusting source. You need to be aware of what's coming up. And if there's any beliefs attached to it that have been imposed on you from others from, just living and growing up. And see them for what they are. And if it's something that don't, doesn't feel right to you anymore or sounds stupid, then this is a time for you to see it for what it is and then choose authentically what you feel and what you choose to believe. Choose your own conditioning.
That sounds good to me. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
Right. So, but you've got to uncover what is back there in your subconscious that is subconsciously, driving you, which you'll know because if things are happening in your life, like for an example, with me, and I do EMDR therapy with a therapist. I've been doing it for, I think over a year. Like I'm, in therapy, like, all kinds of shit. And for me, it's this lack mentality. And like, I'll just start to, get revved up in momentum in my business. And then all of a sudden, because in the past, every time I would be successful getting money and things, I would go out and use a bunch of drugs and fuck everything up. But that's not who I am anymore. I've completely changed my life. But because of the conditioning of, when Lindsey starts to do good, she's just going to go out there and fuck everything up. That's the kind of shit. So subconsciously, I'll start to not do the things that I need to do. I'll start to, like sabotage in ways that fit now, like eating wrong or not working out, I'll start to slack. And that is due to unconscious conditioning that is not relevant anymore, that is sabotaging me without my permission. That needs to be, dealt with, healed, figured out, seen, and reintegrated.
I'm here now.
Huh?
I figured out my video.
Oh, yay. And then physically, are this would like if going to hell, that's a big one. If you did, I was raised Catholic Italian, so hell was a thing. And but I don't subscribe to that at all. And another thing to know is that what you believe is what is going to be so. It's like if you're believing these things, then, well, at least this is my perception of it. If you believe that you're going to hell, then in my awareness, you could manifest that. So it's like what you're thinking and what you're subscribing to mentally and physically, emotionally, spiritually is what is creating your reality. So, I hear people talk about a soul trap. When we die, we never leave Earth. We just get thrown back into another body and come back down here, and it's this trap, and we're stuck. And okay, well, that's what's going to happen. If that's what you think is going to happen, it's going to be your reality. So you got to just look at it, get down to it. Is that what you want? You want to be trapped? Probably not. So if not, you don't have to be. It's so simple that it's complicated. That's all I have to say. It is so simple, it's complicated. It's like we want to complicate everything. Okay, and so then connect the dots. Do you see any common themes in what's coming up? Is what you are observing all have to do with the same kind of situational trauma? What social or emotional conditioning is getting in the way of letting go? The big one is, are you afraid people are gonna, you know, oh, this is a huge one. Like, if you're afraid of being wrong, I mean, that was like a huge thing. But what I found is when I let my ego, when I ignored my ego and ignored the fear of being wrong and just got the shit out of my mouth, it was accurate, like creepy accurate. So it's like, it's getting used to jumping off of that ego cliff and getting things out of your mouth before your ego mind can talk you out of it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. I mean, sometimes I'm like, these people have to be lying to me, you know, because like, it's so accurate. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you know, like, I'm like, oh, these people aren't lying to me, you know, but that's the mind trying to discredit, trying to deter me from my gifts. Which it's all part of, you know, I mean, that's all part of life and why we're here. But I mean, that's been my experience. So then you're going to bring awareness to the block. If you came across a common theme or trauma situation, or writing it out to get the whole picture can help. The key is to see how what's holding you back from self-trust. Go ahead.
I'm for some reason undo this.
Are you there? What happened? Okay. Okay. If you came, I'm just gonna go because I don't know what's going on. All right. The key is to see how what's holding you back from self-trust is only due to social and societal conditioning and not, in fact, true at all. It is essentially debunking the lies we all tell ourselves that hold us back from our true nature and authenticity. Deconditioning is a huge part of psychic development. You must be willing to break the boundaries of normalcy into the unknown. So, and here's a space to, you know, type out the trauma or the situation. Because really, if you can pinpoint your conditioning back to a perceived traumatic event. And when I say traumatic event, it doesn't have to be huge. It could be somebody telling you that you're ugly. That's traumatic. I figured out a while ago that just being in this body was traumatic for me. So literally everything was traumatic. But if you can tie the beliefs back to a event or a thought or something, a point in time where you decided something about yourself, or somebody told you something about you that you then attached to and took it on as a fact, that you're then living your life through this fact, so perceived fact, but really it's a story. And so you're reacting, and everything that you're doing, you're coming from a place of ugly, or whatever it is, whatever somebody told you, or fake. You know, this is a big, imposter syndrome will come up. You know, if you're in a psychic development class and this kind of stuff interests you and you want this, that's because you're supposed to be doing it. And that's part of you. And so don't believe any kind of imposter shit. But, you know, I mean, that can go back to, you know, people. And as a psychic, I mean, I work with people every day in a pretty volatile psychic environment. Like I work on Keen.com as a phone psychic, which is very volatile. You've got people contacting you. You've got to be able to answer the questions like that. And because it's by the minute, so it's very rushed. And you can't be right all the time. Any psychic that says they're right all the time is full of shit. It's not possible. We're human. We're still in these human bodies. There's flaw. So, you know, and people write reviews. And somebody, if I'm, you know, inaccurate, you know, and plus you're inaccurate sometimes for different reasons. There's a lot more going on than you think. It's not an ego. Like I had a reading the other day that what I perceived was going to happen, the exact opposite happened. But because the exact opposite happened with this girl and it had to do with a love relationship or whatever. But I just deliver the information that I'm given. But because of our reading, because I start to dissect things when I get reviews like that. And I start to look and see. And what I saw is that the information that I delivered her enabled her to detach from this relationship so much that it kicked the energy, you know, subconsciously there's energetic things going on, and her energetically detaching from this person made this other person take action and get a move on. And I know that, and I explained that to her. So sometimes, you know, everything is perfect. Everything happens perfectly the way that it's supposed to. Sometimes people aren't supposed to have the information too. You know, you just got to trust that everything is happening perfectly how it's supposed to. And that all goes down to trusting in source and trusting in self, which is source, you know. So, you know, do you guys have any questions?
No, this is a lot to think about.
So then here it's just, you know, having a place to like write out or type out the situation or trauma experience that came up, and then the feelings and emotions and the thoughts and the physical symptoms and the, you know, spiritual behaviors or beliefs that come up that are stemming from this incident or trauma or experience. We have experiences and then we attach to.
I had a
What, Mindy?
I was just going to say, I mean, we don't have to go deep on we don't have to go deep on what it is I'm going to say, but I have a narcissistic mother, and so everything was traumatic. Everything was traumatic.
Everything was traumatic to her. You were watching her go through trauma, or you were experiencing trauma from how she was acting?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure you're probably familiar with that personality type, but they are very traumatizing people. Very, very traumatizing. They don't have a natural pool of empathy. They do not have empathy for others. So it would, you know, it's quite monstrous.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was traumatic.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
My experiences, lots of trauma, I think.
Right. So.
Oh, sorry. Pausing for me. Sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, that's a lot of what would be the thing to look at is what things did you decide about yourself and the environment around you because of those experiences? What beliefs and what did you decide about yourself and your safety and your environment from those experiences, and reflect from there and really internalize? Once you reflect and see how it's still playing out in your life today, see how it's not relevant anymore, how you don't need to protect yourself anymore because the energetic attachments and beliefs, the stories connected to things like that are it's a safety mechanism. You adopt to these safety mechanisms that you don't need anymore. You don't need that protection anymore. So, and bring awareness to the block right below what the lie was that you uncovered. What lie have you been telling yourself and why? How has the lie interfered with you living in authenticity with yourself and others? And then now that you have uncovered the lie, what is the truth? So then the lie, the conditioned belief, and then seeing how it's not relevant and how you don't need it and you don't really believe that, and seeing how or why where the condition came from, whether it was something like you went through when you were little with your mom and then you decided back then. Is that making sense? And seeing how you're still
Yeah.
on guard or
yeah, that's making sense.
and then seeing, and then deciding what the truth is and deciding the new way of being. And then this is when I feel or act like this, I know it's due to the old conditioning. So it's not, things aren't going to just disappear. I mean, some will, but the real deep stuff, it's going to, you got to, take action. You've got to know how or see how it's affecting your behavior and then start to make changes, because you've got to rewire your neural pathways into a different way of being. You're rewiring how you are. You're integrating a new authentic way of being, not this imposed onto you, story life that you're either in the past or the present or the past or the future. And it's like you got to take action. So if that's catching yourself, reacting from old conditioning and taking action in a different way. And things turn around very quickly. You just got to do it. Like, do you forgive your mother? That's like the hardest thing to do ever. I know I go through it with my mom too, but it's like, really just like letting go and,
Yes, I actually do. I mean, is just so energetically draining. Husband and 6 children, and I would be not loving towards my family if I held this. It's just not the person I want to be. I don't want to be that person. It was her behavior. It didn't never really change. It just got different, you know, as you get older. You're not a little kid that can be whacked around or whatever. You know, you're a big person, but the abuse was still there. And so I just didn't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. So it took me some time to kind of work out some of the behaviors that I had that came from her, that weren't authentic to me. Yeah.
Oh, parents.
So no, yeah, I do forgive her. I do forgive her in the sense I don't actively seek to get her back or something like that. I'm not seeking revenge. So I call that forgiveness.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And just letting, letting them be, and keeping boundaries, standing up for your boundaries, and speaking up for yourself when you should. And,
True.
I'm dealing with shit like that with my family because I was a hardcore drug user for a very long time. And I'm not that person anymore. I mean, I'm 4 years past that person, and I'm still being talked to from some of my close family members like I'm some indigent moron, when I take better care of myself than, and then when I stick up for myself, I'm too extra. I'm too defensive. It's like, no, learn a different way to speak to me if you want to be of help to me. I'm not going to take responsibility for other people and how they treat me, because they're treating me based off of an old version of me that isn't me anymore. And I don't like the way that people talk to me. But it's up to me to be like, hey, don't talk to me like that.
I feel that new version of you. I feel that. The old version that you describe, I don't feel that about you. I feel that new version of you.
Yeah, because it's not me anymore. And so, but I mean, you gotta stand up for your boundaries, and that's not letting people, talk to you, treat you like shit, and then try to blame it on you.
That's a good reminder. I appreciate that reminder. It's a good reminder.
Because that's narcissistic, when that's narcissistic. I have people around me who have narcissistic tendencies in my immediate family.
There's a lot of people like that.
If I bring something up, I'm the one at fault. I'm the mess. Right. It's like, what? So, and I see now how I've been being treated like that, I think my whole life, and how that's like affected me, right, in not being able to be who I am, and not being able to be my psychic, weird, empathic self. Because when I am, or when I was in the past, it's too overwhelming for people. So people want to dumb me down. People want to tell me how to be in order for them to be comfortable. Fuck that shit.
Right.
I'm done with that shit. I'm done with that shit. And they're going to get called out on it too.
Right. Okay.
Well,
I like it.
I mean, that's taking care of your boundaries. Nobody else is going to do it. And people will walk all over you if you let them.
Yeah, it is. Yes, that's true. That's absolutely right.
Okay, so taking control of you and your energetic space is a moment-by-moment practice that transforms into a beautiful, authentic piece of artwork, which is you. Show yourself some grace and things will come with ease. I'm here to support you as a guide on your path to finding the only true guide you ever need, which is inside of you. You are your own best teacher, taken care of fully by source. You are waking up to this. Let this be your confirmation. You are so loved and appreciated beyond anything that you can imagine. And then there's a page on the end that, you can type. Oh, it's not going to let me. Oh, yeah. See, type. So, yeah. How are you doing, Nick?
I'm listening.
Do you have any questions or anything?
So far, no.
Okay. Well, that is the whole class. So, I mean, we're, gosh, my math is horrible. We've got 40 minutes left. What do you guys want to talk about? Or do you want to go, or, it's up to you. Is there, I mean, now's the time to ask me anything, or, whatever.
Can you help me with one question? Sometimes I dream things that come in my reality, and sometimes they don't, and I don't know how to interpret them.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how to interpret what I'm dreaming, if it's a good thing or a bad thing, or it's going to happen or not.
Okay, well, a good rule of thumb is to not label things as good or bad, because labeling with anything, in my perspective, is just hogwash, because it's then being put into a box and it creates a reaction from there. So, and dreams, because I've been astral traveling, and I work in the dream realm since I was very, little. I mean, my first memory is flying into my body when I was like 4. And, I started astral traveling naturally when I was around 15 or 16 or so. And then I got control over it. So I think that dream meanings are going to be specific to you. There isn't anybody who's going to be, there's dream books that, have certain interpretations for certain symbols and things, but I would be careful letting something else decide for you what it means. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's something that you have to you have to decide for yourself. All the answers are within you. So if you don't know, and you don't know what it means, ask yourself.
Okay.
I mean, this happened the other night, and it woke me up in the middle of the night. I saw the word Ostera, O-S-T-E-R-A, in my dream, and I woke up and wrote it on my whiteboard. Well, I've never heard that word before. So then I, did some research. Well, it's a Wiccan holiday, which I had no idea. It's like Easter. It represents springtime. That's like and it's also a town in Norway, which a girlfriend of mine that we met over the internet was actually in that town the other day. So, it's like, those are things that you need to decide and find yourself. But I would, the good, bad, like, are you wanting to like warn people about things? Like, if it's such a dream that somebody needs to be warned, that energy will be within you to do what you need to do to warn whoever.
Okay.
And as far as good and bad, like, well, just pay attention to how you feel. I had a dream not too long ago that a snake wanted to fly into my mouth. Like, there was a snake, and when I looked into its eyes, it was the soul of my dog, Ollie, who had passed not too long ago. but it wanted to go in my mouth and down my throat. And I was like, you know, I interpreted that of me not trusting in source completely. There was still non-trust within me. Why wouldn't I let it go in if I thought it was Ollie? Non-trust. So it's just a matter of where you're at in your journey.
I'm at the beginning, like very at the beginning.
Well, that's from it compared to what though? You know what I mean? Like everybody's journey, just because, you know, things could be asked backwards for somebody else. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
compared to, you know, the comparison, that's another thing, going back to the labels. All that does is create this roadmap for comparison. Well, comparing anything to anything in regards to, you know, you, unless you're comparing an outfit to wear or something like that, when it has to do with you and your growth and your journey, it's just pointless to compare anything, because it doesn't matter. It only matters to your mind. It only matters to your ego, which is what you want to be starving of attention, pretty much, or power. The less power your mind and your ego have, the more peaceful your life will be, and the more authentic and in control of your creation you will be. Because the mind can just spat off at the mouth, and then we latch onto it and have a reaction from that spatting that doesn't mean shit. And a lot of it is with psychics, it's telepathic. You may be hearing the thoughts of somebody else. I mean, I know I am, but you know, you don't have to react from it, because it doesn't matter what other people think of you. It really doesn't. Don't make what other people think of you mean something about you, because they're just reacting from their own conditioning, which is fucked. We're all fucked. We're all brainwashed by this conditioning that we need to get our way out of, to get back to our core natural self. At least that's the way that I perceive things on the pursuit of creating a life that I want. What were you going to say, Mindy?
About like
You're breaking up real bad. Yeah.
we
I can't hear you at all. No, completely frozen. Do you have any other questions, Nick?
So I have seen that you made one-on-one sessions or something like that for psychic development.
What, like one-on-one mentoring sessions?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
What
I would
are
like
you-
that.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I want to tap more into my intuition, because sometimes I can hear it like very easy, but sometimes it's very hard to hear it when I'm asking a certain question.
Yeah, that's
And that
because
is, I
conditioning.
know I have some blockages on it, but I don't know why. I know my intuition saved my life many times.
Yeah, no kidding. Me too. So are you thinking of, do you just want to do like one session at a time, or I'll just put together a proposal of different options for you, like if you just want to do one, or if a package of more than one together. So just give me a few days to
Okay,
create that, and then I'll email it to you.
okay, perfect.
Are you on Eastern time?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Mindy. Using tools like pen and letters and so yeah, you keep breaking up and stuff.
I know. It's a bummer.
Pendulums, okay. I mean, pendulums I don't find reliable. I like to use a pendulum to see if chakras are open or not. But as far as like yes, no questions, I don't really find them that reliable. But in tarot cards, tarot cards was really at the base of everything for me, I guess, but not normal tarot cards. Osho Zen are the cards that I use, which is a more deep spiritual depiction of, or interpretation of the tarot deck. So, but that it served its purpose, because I don't rely on tarot, and tarot at this point just confuses me, but it's good to focus the energy. Like if you're working with somebody and you're having an issue, like focusing in on what the reading should be about, like those things, then I would, pick a card or whatever to focus my energy and to have like a jumping off point for the reading. But I don't use them. Not anymore. I did for a long time, but mostly for my own development and to understand myself better. Did that answer your question?
It does. I think that, well, I've been using a pendulum board, and it's got, the numbers, and it's got letters, and it's got dates, the months, and I get whole answers from that because I'm new and I don't necessarily trust what I hear, or I don't necessarily hear. So to have things spelled out for me is maybe kind of just where I'm at in my level of development.
And that's perfect. That's an example of you.
So I mean, basically, I get whole messages, whole downloads from that. I don't know if you ever heard of that before.
Yeah.
I mean, like I can talk to Archangel Michael.
I've never used a pendulum for that. So
I don't know how legitimate I am.
You're as legitimate as you think you are. So that you don't need anybody to validate that. That's a personal thing to you. So it's working. Keep using it. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody does, what works for you is not going to work for me necessarily.
Okay. Now also, I need to use incense, and I need to burn sage, and I need to burn bay leaves, and I have certain crystals that I wear. And all of this seems to kind of create a field around me where I get where I'm protected. There's protection from energies that are not giving correct information.
Mm-hmm.
They might, for example, an energy might find that I'm not connected to something that's telling me the truth, or that saying something disturbing, then I can stop and I can cleanse my field and I can reconnect. So I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing. And, you know, again, it seems experimental to me at this point. I guess I'm trying things out.
Mhm. And you've got to.
And
You've
I'm
gotta figure out.
curious. I get curious about.
At some point, you're not going to need that stuff. Just know that what you're doing right now, and I have compassion for this because you are going through a psychic awakening. So at the beginning, I mean, that was my experience too. I felt like I needed to be protected also. Okay. You know, I have to remember that it's just so vastly different from where I am now. Like, I just know, you know, like I don't need that stuff anymore, but this is your process. This is what, you know, you need to go through. And there very well could be things, you know, trying to, you know, get in, because if you don't have clear boundaries, then things may interfere. And, you know, that just is what it is. So you have to go through this process, exactly what you're doing, to, you know, gain that confidence and to get comfortable. That's all a part of the process. So you're doing exactly, you know, what I did. I did it differently.
Now, when I guessed, or when I gave an answer regarding the gentleman that you were walking with, or the older gentleman that you were interacting with,
Been wanting
that
to
just
I've been wanting to show. I'm going to show him to you one of these days. I really want to get you. I want to get your phone number so I can share with you what he looks like and show you. And I know you know, I just want to show you because it's going to show you proof, you know?
yeah, I'm open to that. I'm open to that. I don't feel intimidated by that, but that answer came from me. I didn't use a tool. And that was really interesting to get confirmation from you. It was very, it felt really good to actually give helpful information that was correct. So I was excited about that.
Yeah. You should be, because how you were seeing him.
I can give you my phone number.
Okay.
Do you want me to say it?
Oh, Nick's leaving. Okay.
I'm breaking up here. I'm pausing. Sorry. The video is pausing.
Put it in the chat so I don't lose it. Bye, Nick.
Okay.
These people.
There you go.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, I have a picture of him in my mind. That's pretty clear. His face isn't necessarily really clear, but I think I have some features, some aspects. I know what he doesn't look like. For example, I know I could pick him out in a lineup, perhaps.
Oh yeah, yeah, you'll see. Some of the stuff you said is just very accurate, and I want to show you when I can. When, you know, when I see him, and if I can, you know, like snap a video real quick, I'll send it to you. It's not something.
Yeah, I think I've been connecting with. Okay, great. Yeah, I think I've been connecting with the archangels, and with my deceased father, who died when I was 4.5 in a motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow.
I think he has told me the story about his death, and it was very interesting because it was an unintentional death, but somebody was trying to take him out of the way. They were very jealous of him. But it looked like just a motor vehicle accident, but he was telling me that it wasn't.
Wow.
And then I've connected to my great grandfather, my dad's grandfather, my grandfather's dad.
Mhm.
And he was also murdered. And he described to me what happened. And I'm just very curious, is this really correct information?
Yes, it is but our mind
I'm
will tell us that we're
fascinated.
making it up.
And it's been very close to my heart because what's that? Our mind can create these things. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying your mind is going to tell you that you're just making it up, but you're not. Yes, you're receiving correct information. But your mind is what gets in the way. It's going to tell you, oh, you're just making it up. No, you're not. You didn't make that
I'll
up.
tell you, I believed it when I was told that. I believed it, but like I say, I'm very new, and so obviously there's this question mark in my head. What are the parameters on this psychic reality? I mean, but this information's been very close to my heart because I don't like the abuse, and it's coming. I don't like the abuse, and I want to sort of have my say in putting a stop to the attack on my family, on the attack on people in general. But in as much as it has been put on my plate to interfere with this sort of evil progress, I'm interested in doing that.
It's ancestral healing. We manifest, like my dad died about 5 years ago, but our lives were so much alike, but different, like I was living his karma, and we have to become aware of that and see how we're manifesting our ancestors' shit that they didn't heal while they were here. Now it's on our plate, and it's our job to get to the bottom of it and heal it, and that'll heal it for our children and their children, and so that's what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
And that's why it's coming up, and that's what you're doing, is healing your ancestral line.
I'm doing. And I have all my children, and yeah.
Awesome.
That's right. A little brief story time. I was at the park one day, and all of a sudden I was walking, and it's next to the river, so lots of trees, kind of in the rough, really beautiful trails. And I go off on this little side trail because it's a long walk, and I use the potty. I use the outdoor potty on this one spot where I feel safe. So I did that, and then I was coming out from that place, and all of a sudden I got this message, and the message was scram. But it was really in the back of my head. But I just decided to take a left down the trail and head back to my vehicle promptly. And as I did that, I passed a man turned onto the trail walking, and he was dressed in a fashion that I wouldn't associate with a walk out in the park like that. He was just wearing all black, and he was very white complected, like he didn't get outside a lot. And I just had the weirdest feeling. I actually felt like I had just escaped being murdered.
Wow.
And I came home and I told my family about it. And then more recently, I don't know, a couple months ago, I could look back in my journal. I was connecting to my great grandfather. Yeah. And he actually was the one that told me to scram.
Awesome.
According to my little mediumship session that I was having with myself, he told me that it was him that was with me. And he is apparently, he is with me a lot, or he has been with me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we are completely taken care of. We are completely protected and taken care of. And they're trying to get across to you that you have nothing to worry about. Like, you are taken care of. If you allow them to take care of you, you will. I mean, you're taken care of. So
Well, that was amazing. That was an amazing experience. I literally felt like I left with my life that day. And I felt like I was passing up people who were in on what was happening. It was a very, very strange, it was a very, I guess, psychic experience. On my way back to the car, felt like I was passing by people who were in on what was going on. It was very, very strange. I'm not like that, so this was, I mean, I'm somebody that always goes for walks by myself. I'm somebody that hikes, I'm very much like out by myself. And so I'm not overly afraid or something like that. But this day, yeah, that's my story about trying to feel like wondering how much I am literally connecting and receive my psychic abilities opening up. This is all brand new to me, literally within the past few months, maybe since February or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
prior to that, I did not allow myself to consider that I could be psychic or to look at tarot cards or anything like that. I'm freaking my family out currently. But
they'll learn to love it.
I think that they will, and I'm not going to push it on anybody. And I've just kind of gently started introducing some things, and it's been interesting.
Yeah. They'll see it. They'll see the proof, and then things will ease up.
Yeah.
It'll start to come out just in your everyday way of being.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm starting to demonstrate some abilities, and it's making them scratch their heads. But we've had kind of supernatural experiences before amongst us as a family, so it's not too far out.
I have to pee really, really bad. Are you okay with jumping off of here?
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you too. And let me know if you need any help with anything. And I texted you, so it's me when I'm showing you the proof of the guy.
Wow, amazing. I'm really grateful. Yeah. And then I think I had answered another question for you, but afterwards I was like, oh no, I just gave her a tarot reading, and I wonder if I crossed some boundary line. Oh, I was freaking out.
No,
Yeah.
You didn't cross any boundaries.
Oh, good. I don't want to cross boundaries, but I might, just being clumsy,
Right. That's normal. All right. Well, I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay.
I'll see you soon.
Blessings and love.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Mm.